Hello everyone, this is Shining Octals, and today if it'd be nice to stream some more 2004Scape, if it'd be nice to do. Let me get everything set up here. Let me see if I can get everything set up here. I appreciate the like, whoever left it. Nice to see someone already here. Let's see here. So yeah. Sec. Yeah, I think the goal now is gonna be uh, it's probably 66 magic, yeah. So we can get to the magic guild. Hey Wes, hope you're doing well today. Glad to see you here. Doing just fine. Oh, hey Matt, glad to see you on the stream as well. Just want to let you guys know I've been getting more people in the Discord lately, so that's been fun. If you guys want to join, let me know. Retro's already in there, and we got a 2004 section up. Just so if you guys want to do 2004 related stuff on there, you're more than welcome to. Or any other games you're interested in. Yeah, I'll see if I can drop it in the comments just in case you guys are interested. Here. Fire Strike is still working well. And oh boy. Yeah, Fire Strike is still working well. You know why I think I'm hitting better now is because I got the Gothic Scape now. That plus 10 magic bonus is really coming in clutch. Oh, okay. So remember, I don't know if I don't know if you guys. Well, I know Wes consistently watches RPG streams, but I remember it took him an average of 20 fireballs with the God Cape to per blue dragon. So let's see how many Mind Runes it takes to defeat another one. After this one, we'll excuse me. We'll see. Okay. And again, I remember RPG has consistently said that it's a sinkhole of money for him to buy those Chaos runes. So let's see how much. I think it's still averaging at around 30 per blue dragon, but let's see. Ugh. I think I brought 600 mind runes with me, so. See here. See here. I think it's still around 50 per cast. Oh, appreciate the second like, whoever left it. Yeah, getting that 43 prayer is going to be awesome whenever that happens. Fireworks are going off in my area. Um, is it going on in your guys' areas too? I'm sure if you live in the states that it it is as well, at least somewhat. Oh shoot, I forgot to bring my nature runes. No worries, I'll be able. When I go back, I'll be able to out what I got. Hey Retro, welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. Right now, I'm just trying to get 43 prayer, and then also see if I can get to the Mages Guild once I get 66 prayer. Then after that, we'll probably be on the road to 80 magic eventually, because I want to get that charge build for either Guthix Claws or Sarah Strike. And then we'll probably train melee, and then eventually I'd like to do Lost City to get the Dragon Dagger and Dragon Longsword. I play this song just because of the eye patches. One of my favorite themes. Figured I'd do a poll. I'll probably keep it up for more people who join later on. Boy named Sue. Was that Sun? Is that Sunshine? No, that's someone else. Let's see. It's gonna be a bit of a journey to get 66 and especially 80 magic. But it'll be fun, I think. I think we'll what'll kind of keep me here is the clues as well as the drops, and I think after 43 prayer, I think we'll be good on prayer for a while, at least until Smite comes out. Getting a lot of good Addy ore. Always fun to trade as well. Love Sphera. One of my other enjoyable themes. I also want to let you guys know, I think I was telling Buffy and Rowie last stream that I think I went through another growth spurt. Even though I'm 30 years old, I somehow I've been having these late growth spurts. I had one when I was 28, 29, where I went from like around 5'9"-ish, maybe I was a little bit under that, to 5'11". Now seems like I measured myself and I'm at like 6 foot, and Thankfully, last time, when I had someone staying over that went with me to one of my friend's weddings, he measured me, and I was indeed 5'11". So it's interesting how um, you know, I was fine enough with 5'11", but it seems like my body was like, nope, just a little bit more. But yeah, just interesting how it all happens. Let's see. Yeah, I've read on Reddit that some people in their 30s have grown an inch or two. So it's not, I mean, it is uncommon, but it's not like what do you call it? It's not like like something that never happens, I guess. But I guess it is pretty rare, yeah. I guess I'm one of those pretty rare cases. But I think this might be one of the last major growth spurts, because I think after 6 foot, I mean, or around there, it's pretty good. I mean, I know some people want to be 6'9" and such, but I'm quite fine. Um, you know, how whatever the world has in store for me. Thankfully, this time around though, like the last growth spurt I had, I was starving like crazy, but this time around it wasn't so bad. Probably because I got a lot of good weight under my belt the last year or two, so well, it wasn't too bad adjusting. Oh, I didn't know that actually. That's very interesting, no? I'm a real pirate son. Cool. I guess the one perk to this is that, um, but it could have been because I was also growing a little bit. Is like the last couple a few days, I was having trouble with my seat because I didn't know whether to lower it up or down or all that. Because I think part of the reason was my calves were hurting a bit because I guess I was growing a bit. But now that I think things have like stabilized, I'm not having too much trouble with my chair anymore. Uh, like I can raise it to the highest level and it's fine. And I think this chair will be fine because I used to think I needed to get a bigger chair because I know like a lot of people say like depending on how tall they are like with gaming chairs like I think if you're like 5'7", 5'8", 5'9" ish like it's okay but like once they start getting like over 6 foot it can be tough for some people but I still think I could manage. I just have to stretch my legs a bit more I guess like kind of put a little bit more under the desk. I've had this chair for like, I think over 5 years now, so it's held up quite well. I'm also getting a new keyboard, just because it's not like that the keyboard I have right now. It's like a ragged Red Dragon Shiva 512, like it's like shines like the rainbow. I got it for 20 bucks used. It was in really good shape, but I decided to buy another one for 30 bucks because the C key on my keyboard is starting to get a little bit hard to press. It's not crazy hard, but I just figured it might be good to get a new one and then keep this as a backup. You know, it might be a good idea. I will say though, like when it comes to family members, and maybe this is, uh, mhm. Yeah, I will say when it comes to family members, maybe this is like where I have like part of the kind of like growing kind of moments is like my dad's side of the family, they tend to be around 5'7", 5'8" ish. But my mom's side, they're a little bit taller. I think my mom is, I think, as tall, if not even maybe even a little bit taller than my dad. Now, my mom's side, um, I think my grandfather, her father was like around 6 foot. And then her brother, I think, is like 6'2". Now, I don't know the height of all of my dad's side because I have a grandfather named great grandfather Cleves, and I'm not sure how tall he was, or even all of my dad's fathers or grandfathers before him. But yeah, it's kind of like something to kind of think about. Oh, here we go. We got more votes in. So it seems like sitting at Varrock West Bank is the most popular opinion. Training at Green and Blue Dragons is second though, which is cool. By the way, for anyone wondering why I put the E or it's called E Grega, or essentially it derives from the Greek epsilon, but if you wonder why I have that with the ampersand, is it's just kind of I'm really into like ancient Greek folklore and things like that, and I learned that the Spanish word for an E or the letter Y you see, comes from the ancient Greek word epsilon. So that's why I have that as well with the ampersand, which I think came from Latin, or specifically part of it was influenced by Rome. So just for anyone interested, why I put both there. It's kind of like people who ask me, what does Rimbu mean? And then I tell them Rimbu is Danish or Norwegian for rainbow, because some people don't know that. So, and I found out, like, I think it might have been my great-grandfather Cleves, or my great-grandfather Siggy Sr., that they were connected to, like, the Danish Dani, which was a tribe in Denmark. So, that could be one reason why I have cousins from all the way over there. So, then of course I found out recently too, my dad and I got like a bunch of like Gallo Celtic matches from France, from the Iron Age, and then even some Belgic tribal matches too, which is cool. In Belgic, they usually say it's like a mix of Celtic and Germanic, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, like, when they say Celtic and Germanic, it's because, like, a lot of the, well, a lot of the people in France during the Iron Age, or before it was called France, it was called Gaul, because France was really the name given by the Franks. Gaul was really where the Gallo-Celts lived, or, well, they were essentially just Celts who lived in Gaul, so that's why they have the word Gallo there. Because they are Celts, but they are also Celts that live in Gaul. That's why they're also known as Gauls. Like, I think I've learned more and more, like, Ireland and Britain, they were really influenced a lot by the Norse, even early on. Maybe they might have had a bit of the connection even before the Vikings. Um, 'Cause I noticed the Celts in France or in Gaul, they tended to be a lot more genetically closer to like Spanish, Portuguese, and North Italian, and of course also French and South Dutch was included there. And then the Celts in Britain and Ireland seemed like they were even before Vikings. You could still see like Danish admixture, and so there is something to take note of there. Uh, that Celts, I guess wherever they landed, whether it was France, Spain, Portugal, Britain, Ireland, they mixed with different people. They were still Celtic, but of course they mixed with other people, and so it became Celtic plus whoever else was there. I guess it's kind of like the Norse. They were Norse, and then when they went to different areas, they became Norse plus whoever else was there. So I actually had a friend named Remy from Wales, and she said I reminded her a bit of her dad. And I learned that the name Remy is also a Belgic tribe as well. So she might have been related to one of the Belgic tribes from Gaul or from northeastern France, Belgium area. And then my mum's Scottish friend Josephine, I had a match from Iron Age France. It was like it almost looked like her, like red hair and things like that. And that match was closest to Spanish, Galician, Portuguese. And I know like there have been Scottish who have gone to northwestern Spain and Portugal, and they've kind of felt a connection there. And she told me that she felt like she was my auntie, so that's kind of nice of her. Asterix and Obelix. I don't know. Are they YouTubers or I don't know if I've heard of them. Hmm. By the way, V2X, I just realized that you also joined the stream as well. Glad to see you here as well. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've never heard of it. Yeah, I think out of the three groups, out of like Greeks, Norse, and Celts, I think the Celts are really the ones that, they just, of course the Norse and Greeks and Trojans, they all spreaded far and wide, but the Celts are really the ones that really, funny more for kids, yeah. No, the Celts are really the ones that, it almost kind of like reminds me a bit of like, somewhat of the Native Americans, how even though they can all be Native Americans, it's interesting, how diverse, they can be. And I think that could be the same thing for the Celts as well. I remember my dad's partner, she thought she was just Anglo-Saxon white. Then she found out she had a lot of Celtic ancestry, and she's like, "What? But I don't really feel Celtic." I'm like, "Well, it's part of you." Um, no. And yeah, no, that's pretty interesting. And then she also had like Viking Danish and stuff. She would say, "I'm not those people. I'm not those Vikings." I would say, "Well, somehow it became part of your ancestry." She did have a tribe from France that she was connected to. It was the Celtic Parisy, which I think is where the name Paris might have gotten. Also had a connection to the name that those might have been one of the tribes that inhabited Paris. Then there was another one called Celtic. I call it Cantiasi because I used to think that Cantiasi was what the because I think it might have been the Romans that might have tried to name the Celts they encountered there the Cantiasi, but to me it sounds like cantat like in Spanish, or it makes me think of like the Welsh who are good singers, but some people also say that it can also mean like the edge or the cliff of something, and that it's connected to Kent in England. So it's interesting to see the different kind of connections there. What do you think about, let's see, Escalad's views on the Celts, Romans, and Anglo-Saxons? He's a character from the popular anime Vinland Saga. I haven't seen that yet, V2K. Um, I will tell you, when it comes to Scandinavians, or at least more so the Norse, I know they're not quite Anglo-Saxons, but I watch Bjorn's channel, because Bjorn reminds me a little bit of my dad's dad, or well, Siggy, and then his dad's name was Siggy, and that comes from the Volsunga saga with yeah. When I heard Ask Aladdin, I think about the boy from Nick Trials Quest gives a pet rock. Yeah, I'd have to look into that, because again, like for my dad's deep dive, like he didn't get like Anglo-Saxon like his partner, but he did get like Danish Dani, which is like a probably like a tribe more so related to the Norse that lived in Denmark. So, and I think maybe even part of northern Germany used to be part of Denmark too, according to what I heard from Bjorn. Because I heard that that I guess that border was always kind of contended a little bit. Um, but yeah, like I've learned a lot from him, and I've learned a lot about the Norse, and I know RPG connects a lot with that too, because I think he said he's like ethnically Norwegian, and I think that's what my dad. When I looked at his samples, he was fairly like one of his admixtures like Viking Danish, um, Norwegian Viking, Nordic Adagad, and then the Danish Dani that I mentioned. And then probably from my mum, I might have got like a little bit of Lombard. Um, and that would have been, I don't know if you've heard about the Longobards, but they were said to have come from Scandinavia, and then when they settled in northern Italy, well, maybe even before then, they were fighting the Vandals. And so it was said that they had sought Freya for counsel, and Freya told the women to tie their long hair like beards. And so when they fought the Vandals, they were given favor by Odin. And so that's why I guess they were called the Longobards or the Longbeards, maybe partly because of that tale. It's a pretty cool. It's a pretty neat story. Yeah, that's what it said. You know that that's what they did. Like they didn't actually grow a beard. They just tied their long hair like a beard, so, in front of their, I guess, in front of their neck. But yeah, like, um, I think even my dad's partner said that she didn't feel English. That, of course, she does identify as English, but she would say that she also felt maybe part Welsh, or she might have had maybe even a connection to the Cornish. And maybe it could also make more sense now because she did have like a lot of like Celtic deep dive in her ancestry. She also did definitely had Anglo-Saxon as well. Um, but that wasn't the only thing. So yeah, could be another factor there. Of course, also the Franks too. She also had some of that. Um, I know he spoke to someone from England, and then she would say to be Frank. So it's kind of funny. I will tell you, I know this doesn't necessarily pertain to England, but my grandmother, Mama, she prefers to be called Mama. She got me a gift for my birthday. One of those gifts was a box of chocolates. I don't know if you guys have heard of the brand. I'll have to see what it is. It's like it's like Lindt chocolate, like Lindt. And apparently, it's made in Germany, and the chocolates were really good. It's like 36 of them. I know it can be a little bit expensive for a box. It tends to be like $15 to $25 per box, but yeah, they were really good, especially refrigerating them. I know a lot of people say, don't refrigerate, box chocolates because it tends to ruin the taste, but I thought it made it taste even better, so probably because it's so hot as well. But no, I've learned that Britain and Ireland really are more diverse than I thought. I know some people might say otherwise, but there's a lot of people like even like with other backgrounds. Like again, um, you know, Like I know like RPG says he's not ethnically Irish, but it's still kind of cool how he said like, yeah, I was still raised by Irish though, even though I'm ethnically Norwegian, and the Irish took me in probably because of the red beard. So it's kind of funny. I have a bit of a red beard as well. Not a full-on red beard, but I do have a bit of red hair that sometimes comes out of my beard. Speaking of which, have you guys, if you guys do live in the States, I don't know if all of you do, or could be also Canada or other parts of America, like Latin America, wherever, or even, Oceania or Australia. Have you guys ever visited Europe before, or have you guys ever been to, like, you know, Britain or Ireland or Norway or Italy or any of those other places, Spain? Oh, we're not too far away from 43 Prayer. Got 1400 left. I've visited London once. My uncle lives there. Oh wow, Retro. Do you live? If you don't mind sharing, I think were you the one who said who lives in Canada, or I'm not sure if that was someone else. I think that was you. Um, oh, someone's skulled here. Interesting. Yeah, I think you were the one who also said you were Irish, and or at least yeah, that I think you said you also had a red beard. If so, I guess welcome to the club. I know I don't have a full red beard, but as Roey would say, it's cool to have dark and red hair. I think that's kind of neat. I'm honestly fine with it though. I really I enjoy my dark hair. I used to think it was jet black, and then sometimes when I look in the mirror, I can see like a little bit of dark brown. But yeah, then of course the deep red that sometimes comes out of my dark beard. Like, I know when some people have red hair, it's more like an orange color, but mine is like a really deep red. Like, it's like red red. And so when I saw that match from Spain, or not fr Spain, France, but it matched with like modern day populations of people from like Galicia, northwest Spain, and parts of Portugal. Um, it reminded me so much of my mom's friend Josephine. So I have some Irish blood, but I have brown hair. Yeah, I know that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say Irish or part Irish. 'Cause for me, for example, like I think that's what Mafi was asking one day, because she was asking, why would I say Celtic aside from like a nationality? And the reason why I use Celtic is because I guess you could technically say I am part Irish, but I like to say Celtic because I feel like it's more inclusive, because I also have matches from like, because for example, some Irish consider themselves Celts, but also like Scottish, also like Welsh, also French, or some people living in France or Spain or even parts of Germany. So, but yeah, no, like, so I think my dad on one test would say he was like 30% Irish, but then it breaks it down, and I think part of it was like part of it has to, well, it doesn't have to be, but it also said like 7% Norwegian, but I think that's where like some of the Norse ancestry comes from, that it's not only Celtic but also Norse. Both my grandparents from my mom's side are Dutch. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like my great grandfather Cleves, he came from, I think part of his family long ago they lived in Cleves in northwest Germany. And when I think of Cleve, I think of fell cleave, like from Final Fantasy 14, like a warrior fell cleaving with an axe. But yeah, that's where they lived, and most Germans I've spoken to, they don't know where Cleves is, but one did. Um, but actually, a Dutch person that I spoke to knew where it was, and he said that he'd go over there and buy stuff at one of the stores, and then hop back to the border to the Netherlands since it's so close. And I think I was, uh, I had some ancestry else related to the Dutch, and that could also come from him potentially as well. So I think if I like the Dutch, it's because I like the plating, and I think that's what I have a German Irish American friend, and he one time we had our Dutch friend when we were talking, and she's like, "Who needs good plating?" And I'm like, "But if you have good plating, you can enjoy your pretzel more." And then my Dutch friend was like, "Thank you, Jem." And it's like, I don't care about good plating. I only care about the pretzel. And I'm like, well, you don't have to spend $100 on a good plate. But still buy a good, decent plate for $2, like a blue ceramic plate. So, but yeah, that's what I would always say is like at least the Dutch they tend to have good plating. Appreciate the extra like, whoever left it. Yeah, I know. I've been trying to piece my ancestry together a little bit more too, because I think that's what I was trying to tell Mafi, who lives in Britain or in England. Um, and she says it best that I'm really like a cultural blend. And I told her, and you guys might know this, especially if you live in the U.S., but maybe even Canada. Well, thank you, Magnus. Oh, I'm actually related to, I think, a Magnus. I don't know what country you're from, Magnus Maximus, but I think I'm related to like a Magnus. It might be from Sweden or somewhere in Scandinavia. Yeah, welcome to the stream. I only knew that because I looked it up. I had a cousin named Magnus, and I'm like, where's that come from? But yeah, so I was telling Mafi, I don't, and also not only Mafi but um, Rowie, because she's also from Britain or England. I think she's also is also connected to the Welsh. Uh, I told her, I'm pretty much like a melting pot, or representation of what the melting pot it is. And they said, what's just America, though. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, so you might know this, Magnus. And so when I told them I'm kind of like the representation of the melting pot, like, they said, what does that mean? I say, you've never heard of the word melting pot used? Like, I was trying to tell them, like, in the US, sometimes, I don't know about Canada too, but in the US, when they sometimes would describe what the US is, they would say it's a melting pot, or like a melting pot of different cultures that have come together. And I just told them I'm a manifestation of that. I'm a manifestation of the melting pot. You know, all these different people have come together. Yeah, yeah, but they didn't know what that meant. I think in their eyes, like for example, like I think they view Americans or a typical American as a Yankee. And so when I showed a photo of myself, like in selfies to Muffy and Rowie, she would say, "Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Like you don't seem like a typical Yank, you know." And then that's when I told her about the melting pot. That's there's a reason why this place is called the melting pot. So, but yeah, no, it's been fun talking to them. No, because I understand they live in Europe as well, and they may not. They might get a little bit of news about the U.S. and Canada and other parts of the Americas, but maybe not have the full scope of it aside from getting clips of an orange man yelling, you know, time and again. So yeah, it's just a joke. I got Scottish, Irish, Italian, Dutch, Danish, just white. Yeah, no, of course. I think over there though they like especially like for example like Mafi and Rowie. I think that's why they talked about nationality. It's like, are you Spanish? Are you English? Are you German? Or. And that's why I would say, like how you say you would list off all those nationalities. It's kind of like that with me too, because I have all these different things in me, and so that's why I was trying to tell them about the melting pot. Because I think over there, I think they probably know themselves a bit better, and that's because well they live there. They live in Europe. They were born in Europe, so and so I try to explain it as best as I can. And I know people mix over there too, of course, but I think here it might even be a little bit more accelerated, quote unquote. I also told her too that most people here in the US, at least in my opinion, they don't really identify as an English American. I think the only person I've met that has said that was my dad's partner. But even she said, "Well, I'm English, but I'm not like only just English," you know? So it's kind of funny. Now you got Schoolhouse Rock stuck in my head. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because I think that's where part of that came from. I think they also talked about that. But no, I hear like a lot of Irish American, German American, Italian American, sometimes Scottish American. Not so much Welsh American sometimes, but now Danish American. I heard that from my dentist. But you don't hear that. You don't hear someone say they're Danish American. You know? I mean, you can sometimes, but it's not as common, at least not where I live at. People say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Danish American." You know? But then like if it's like German or Italian or even Irish, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely German or I'm definitely Italian or I'm definitely Irish. Or but Danish, it's like, well, I got Danish ancestry. Like, well, you might be a Danish American. So I find that funny. A little bit on my dad's side is she's Danish, yeah. I no, I feel like my German Irish friend would say, what's that even mean, Jem? What's a Danish American? And I would just make a joke. Have you ever had Danishes before? They're these sweet desserts. I have to make sure that they came from Denmark, but yeah. Okay, so apparently the story about the Danishes, even though they're not. I don't know why I said that. Even though they were eaten commonly in Denmark, it seems like they were originally brought from Austria in the 1800s. So that's interesting. I think there's a story about French fries too that apparently it might have originated in Belgium instead of France or something. I'll have to check that. Yeah. Yeah, Belgium. They also say they put vinegar on their fries in Belgium too, kind of like how people eat salt and vinegar chips. But instead of chips, it's well, it depends where you go. I think if you went to England, they call chips fries, so I don't know about Belgium, but what we know as fries here in the US and maybe Canada, uh yeah. You can correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, Retro, because I'm not 100% sure on that with the Canadian, how the Canadians differentiate between fries and chips, but all I heard, or one thing I heard about Canada, is they have one of their national dishes is a dish called poutine. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And to me, it looks like kind of like a dish with like fries and I guess they put what's known as cheese curds and brown gravy. Is that something you often have it where you live in Canada, Retro? Poutine? I actually hate poutine. Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't know if it was like a dish that most Canadians like, but I guess not. It looks decent to me, but again, I don't really have it that often. Or I don't know if I've even had it. Maybe if I did, it was only once. But Let's see. A lot of people love it. I just hate what they do to the cheese. I know it sounds odd, but I hate cottage cheese. Yeah, I don't know if I've really had cottage cheese that much. But yeah, I can see maybe why it might not be appetizing for everyone. Okay, so we got 6 votes on the poll. Sitting Varrock West Bank is at the top. Training at Green Dragons or Blue Dragons is also second. Deep Will the PvP third, and then no one. I guess you guys don't put me trading eye patches at the top of your list. It's alright though. If it can at least be part of your list, that's pretty cool. There we go, watching Jen trade eye patches. There we go. Hola, hello, hello. Buffy, hope you're doing well. I know Shortbread ASMR from Scotland, she also sometimes say hello, which is cool. I feel like sometimes I can say both. Sometimes I'll say hello and sometimes I'll say hello, but I think I like hello a little bit more. I guess it's so close, I guess, but hmm And then hola, of course, is Spanish for hello. If there's one thing that my mama has helped me with is to continue practicing Spanish because I found it beneficial to be able to speak more than one language, English and Spanish, and I guess technically I do throw some words in Norwegian and Danish, Reinbu, because I know not everyone knows what that means. Best way to answer the phone is, of course, yellow. Oh wow. I think in Spanish, yellow would be amarillo, so. Oh, you might find this funny, by the way. Um, Mafi, because I think most people in the States know what a quesadilla is, and maybe even, I don't know about Canada, but at least here in the States, most people know what that is. It's like a Mexican dish where you get a tortilla, what's known as like a tortilla. It's like a flour tortilla, and you put cheese in it and you melt it, and it's really good. And I spoke to someone from England. I'm trying to remember her channel. I think her channel's like Jody ASMR, I think. And she's like, "What's a quesadilla?" And I kind of laughed. It's like she has no idea what that is. That's great. Yeah. No, I just couldn't help but laugh. It's like, what's that? It's almost as bad as people, or what you call Yankees, who go to England and say Plymouth instead of Plymouth, or I think the worst one, and that's not even in England, it's in Scotland. It's I don't like the word either, but it's like Edinburgh instead of Edinburgh. But no, she like don't say it, don't say it, don't. Yeah. If anything, get a Scotsman or Scotswoman there, and also have them join the English woman. They don't say it, lassie. But no, I laughed, and I can understand it. It's far away, and it's across the ocean, and I think that's why I also sent you that video too about you're the only American I've known to say British things correctly. I try to. I'm not perfect, and again, I wasn't born there this lifetime, but I do have ancestry connected to there, or at least, I'm sure I have a little bit of at least Scottish, Irish, Welsh, and maybe even a tiny bit of English too. Even if it's like 1% or something, I don't know. But yeah, it's because I like again I told you like my dad on the DNA test was like 30% Irish for sure. But I think part of it's also probably like Norse or something. I mean, I'm sure part of it's Celtic, but part of it probably is like a mixture of Norse too. But it's interesting like how kind of have everyone come together and it kind of be again like a melting pot, as I mentioned before. I'm looking through all the Miss Discord messages, just seeing the message you sent me. Yeah, I sent you a message because I know you were kind of wondering, what Mexicans tend to look like. I know some people here in the States, and I don't know about Canada, but here in the States, some people think Mexicans are Spaniards, or predominantly Spaniards, or Spaniards from Europe. But a lot of them are really predominantly closer to Native American Indians, or like the Native Americans or indigenous people of the Americas. And a lot of them can also look Asian, or like a wide variety of Asian, like Vietnamese, like La Carmencita, she connects with that. Or like my dad's grandmother looked Japanese. Some also feel connection to Hawaii, so or even Siberia. It all kind of depends, it's not just one thing. It's a multitude. But yeah, I thought you could relate to that of a Mexican who's I think is almost 100% native. How her interview of what people think of Mexico and Britain. Thought you might find that neat. And it's okay if people don't know, because even here in the U.S., people think apparently that um I've heard like people think Spanish came from Mexico. It's almost bad as saying we don't speak English, we speak American. American came from here, didn't come from England. So maybe that's what they think of Mexico, like, we speak Mexican, not Spanish. You know? I mean, of course, there's dialects for sure, but we have to also look at there's at least some contribution, hopefully. I think I don't know if I've heard any people from Canada also. Well, I'm sure maybe there's at least one, maybe. Though of course I'd let the Canadians answer that. But I don't know if I've heard someone say we don't speak French, we speak Quebec, or I don't know. Or we don't speak French, we speak Canadian, or I don't know how they would say it, but because I think in Canada, I think there's more than one main language that you guys speak. It would be English and French, I think. But I know the U.S. kind of goes back and forth on if we have an official language or if we don't have an official language. So, but yeah, I think the two main languages spoken here on average would probably be English and Spanish. I don't know what the frequency of French is, but it might be higher in Canada though, potentially. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard of a Mexican say we don't speak Spanish, we speak Mexican. Maybe I wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I feel bad because I live here and I grew up here, and then Bjorn will say if you guys have a IQ higher than your shoe number, then you guys would because some people here believe the Earth is flat, and they'll say it on Bjorn's channel. They'll say, "You're wrong, Bjorn. The Earth is not a sphere; it's flat." And I guess what they think is the Norse ships when they went to the New World that they fell off the face of the planet and they somehow came back just all right when they got to Greenland. Yeah, yeah. I feel bad because you know with the Americas, being such a large place. You think that it would happen in other parts of the America as well, but I feel like a lot of these comments come specifically from the US, and I don't know why. Why specifically here? And I think that's why, like, sometimes Canadians they don't want to be associated with Americans, and then even I think in Mexico they're starting to tighten their immigration policy. Like I think they're starting to deport people out of there because there's more people starting to want to immigrate there. I think, but yeah, I try to be a good example. I try to because there's so much like negative news about the U.S. Circulating lately that I try to offset a bit of that and try to say, guys, it's not all bad. I swear. We're we're not, you know. Um, but yeah, it's just silly. And I have been to Canada before. I have traveled there. I've been to British Columbia, Alberta, um, Yukon Territory, which is like the west side of the state for those who don't know. And then I also went to Alaska too, which I know is part of the States, but that was really nice. And then Latin America, I've been to Ecuador, which is a country in South America. And then I went to the Galapagos, which is an island off the coast of Ecuador, and I saw a lot of cool wildlife there as well, which is neat. But yeah, some people here in the States, they haven't even left their city. Like some people haven't even traveled like out of a 50-mile radius of where they were born. And of course, not saying they have to. They don't have to do that. They choose not to, but it makes me understand things a bit better though. Like if people say, well, I could say that, but then you could also say the same thing in Canada and Latin America, that people, haven't traveled, over a 50-mile radius, but they still have a bit more of an understanding of languages. But I still like living here though, even with all the chaos in the news. Thankfully, I live in a peaceful part of the US. I live in the inland Pacific Northwest. It's not always peaceful because we recently had two firefighters passed away. I don't know if you guys heard about it. It's apparently it even reached one of the UK or Britain newspapers. But yeah, aside from that, it tends to be peaceful here. It tends to be peaceful in my area, but even here we could sometimes have some issues from time to time. So I'm not too far from the Canadian border. I think I'm like maybe 2 hours away, 2 hours south. It's not too far. My trip to the U.S. my first on my flight home, I sat next to a really chill American guy. He was an ex, I think, American Air Force. He said to me about how there are two types of Americans: ones who have traveled and ones who have never left the country. Yeah, well, never left the country or even never left their town. You know, there's some people who have never left their town, and yeah, yeah. Um, the interesting thing about the States too is it's kind of um interesting because a lot of times when I tell people where I live, a lot of people they don't want to come here because they have this idea that where I live, everyone here is supposedly very narrow-minded. But that's not true. There's a lot of good people here, or at least in the part of the country that I live in. And I think the thing is that part of it is seeing what's in the news, but then also getting to know the locals as well, because you can say, "Well, I heard this place, doesn't have the best reputation." But then when you actually meet the people locally, it can also be a bit different. Um, Take care, Retro. Hope you have a good rest of the evening. Um, and I know that was reiterated when the firefighters passed away here, because there was some history here in the past that wasn't the greatest. Where there were problems with hate, but a lot of the community who has lived here for decades, they have tried to get better with that. And I came here when I was I started coming up here from Northeast Florida, which is an hour south of Georgia, when I was 6 years old. And I've always really had a good time here, and I've always wanted to move up here. And I decided to move up here full time around 5 years ago. Um, so yeah, um, but yeah, no, I'm glad like when people do actually come up here, like my dad and his partner, that they do have a good time, and that they can see that there are good people here in the community. And then I had another friend of mine, or a friend I used to have, and she used to say, "Well, it's called the Gem State because you live there." And for anyone who doesn't know, the Gem State is Idaho, the state of Idaho. It's more than just a state of potatoes, even though some people may not want you to know that. There are also forests here, and I live really close to like the Washington and northern part of the state. So But yeah, no, I've really had a good time here, and there's a lot of great people. It's just sometimes, I don't know, like, yeah, OQ, good to know. Yeah, I just think sometimes like people, um, like for example, I'll tell you, I went to like the west part of the U.S., um, like even Olympia, Washington on the West Coast, and when I went there, it felt like a bit of a dystopia to me. And people when I would say hello, people wouldn't say hello. I guess it's a bigger city, but when I came back to where I live, I kind of felt at home because where I live, most people would you say hello to them, they say hello back, and it's not a problem. And I thought in Washington, in the west side of the state, that it would be kumbaya, or kumbaya would be like I thought, everyone would be. I didn't want to say everyone would be holding hands, but I just had this idea that over there, like people were far more, um, I guess, inclusive. Because I think of what they talk about with uh, one thing would be, I guess, um, like I guess I'll use an example like LGBTQ and all that. But yeah, no, people over there they didn't really want to say hello, so you get that over the world kind of like here people are supposedly friendly or up north. Yeah, and speaking about that, the weirdest thing that happened, Moffy, is we did have an event. Ooh, 43 prayer, great. We did have an event here that was associated with LGBTQ and all that here in North Idaho. And the interesting thing was a lot of people who wanted to cause trouble weren't even from our state. Like a lot of them were from Washington. And I was surprised because I thought over there they were all, pro, inclusive, pro, like, let's have everyone together. But no, these people wanted to start a problem here, and they got taken care of pretty quickly, thankfully. But it just shows, sometimes people have to understand, and I came to understand this uh, that parts of Washington State that I thought were a very I don't know, like very um, like I had this image in my mind, and even other people from Idaho would say the same thing too, like that they would all be like, "Hey, let's get together and all that," but it's like it's almost like a facade. It's like an illusion, you know. We're here. It's kind of the opposite. Like people are more, you know, it's like what's the term? You see what you get here, and that's usually how it is. So like when people usually say they're inclusive here, they usually mean it. So, but yeah, that's one thing I noticed in the West Coast that it's almost like part of it. And I'm not trying to downplay the West Coast for anyone living over there, by the way, or further west, but it's just kind of it's like they'll say one thing but then mean the other. So it's kind of a bit interesting, but yeah. And that's why I try to tell people here that this is a good place, because they have this idea that this place is somehow this backwards place, but I've never really felt like that. I mean, of course, I have met some people here that are a bit close-minded, but they usually feel better after I talk to them. And so, most people here, even if they struggle, even if some people do here, like some exceptions do have a bit of a narrow perspective of the world, they usually get better after I talk to them. Because I like researching and all that, and I also try to help people. And I'm also part of the community as well. And you know, we're not the biggest community, but we are a community. Kind of reminds me of what they say in Cornwall, or some of the people down in Cornwall, that they say, we'll fight you to the bitter end. But at the end of the day, we'll still, love one another, and you know, I can kind of relate to that a little bit. Um, the Air Force American guy also said about how inland states are more communal, unlike the big coastal state cities. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you think it would be the opposite. You think it would be you think you see the news, the politics, and all that, and I'll try not to dive too deep into it. But you think, even on the surface level, that those places would be more, people would come together more. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's usually the case. I don't know why. Um, I just think here, when you say hello to someone, it's a lot more personal. Well, not personal in a bad way. It's just people when they say hello, they'll stop and talk to you for like 2, 5, 10 minutes sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't have to be that long, but people are usually willing to stop and say hello. But I didn't feel that when I went further west. Like in Iowa, when we got tornadoes and such, people would band together to help each other. Yeah, um, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. I actually have a friend I told you that even though she's kind of been under the weather lately, she got me ice cream for my birthday, and she was the one who was Cajun Irish, so kind of like a mix of Irish, French, maybe even a bit of German, Scandinavian, and other things. But yeah, she got me ice cream for my birthday. I think she delivered it through Grubhub or Uber, and that was nice of her. I say we as if I'm. Well, I mean, you lived here for a while, so I mean, you could technically say that, or you could say, I lived in America for a wee while, and that's how I felt when I was there. I guess it's someone like if they lived in England for a few years and would say the same thing. Yeah. And so that's why I try to be a good example because I know right now in the news a lot of people, especially it seems like in Europe, have this idea that America is this they have an image of like a raging orange that's yelling and talking about you know um there's talk about Alcatraz and alligators and all that, and they tend to have this negative view. And so I try to help them shift from that negativity and say, no, we're not all like that. Because I don't want people in Europe starting to say, well, we don't want Americans here anymore because of what we see in the news. That's I wouldn't want that to happen. So and or Japan or anywhere else for that matter. And I feel bad too because Bjorn from Norway sometimes he has to shut down his channel because there's usually people, and I don't know how many from Europe or elsewhere, but there's a lot of people from the U.S. that will say you're going to hell because you believe in Odin, and then he'll have to shut down his streams a lot because it kind of gets to him. So, and that's his culture, that's his ancestry. He connects a lot with Norse paganism, and I know he calls himself a heathen. But some people they just fly off the rail and just they just can't. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's I'm glad that that you enjoyed your time in the U.S. Mafia. No, it means a lot to me. It really does. Yeah, so now that we have 43 prayer, got all the protection prayers now, which is great. And I think that's the thing too. Like I know um, some people have this saying that bad news is good news, but I think that's what I've noticed too. Like in the news networks, that they have all this negative news circulating lately, and sometimes they have positive news too. But I think that's also, of course, another factor too. But things can change. It's just have to lead by example. It's the best way I can describe it. Also, Mafi, I want to tell you that just like how Rowie and you complimented me with how I look, my friend Dolly did that as well, which is very nice of her. Um, she said that because there was a guy I don't know if I told you about Lena and her partner Lewis. Funnily enough, I'm also named Lewis, but some people call me Louis, Luigi. Um, there's many ways to say my name. Louis, I don't think anyone's called me Ludwig or whatever, but usually Louis or sounds like a Dewey from one of the Celtic tribes in France. But anyways, he was the one who one time, I was playing with her and him, and we were playing Final Fantasy 14 and Luigi. Yeah, my dad calls me that, Luigi. Yeah, I've been to Italy before, and the Italians were pretty friendly to me. It was years ago, but I went to Rome and Florence, and excellent food. But it was really good. Uh, hello, Rowie. Glad to join the stream. Glad you joined the stream. But anyways, so Lena, I told you Lena was the one, or I told Rowie. I don't know if you know this yet. Okay, so I want to see what you think, Muffy, and anyone else watching the stream. So Lena has an interesting backstory. So her mother was born in Puerto Rico, which is an island in the Caribbean, and I think it's a U.S. territory currently. I'd have to look into that. But anyways, so allegedly she was 80% Irish. That's what I learned. And then Lena said that she feels like she's 40% Irish. So I told Rowie on one of the last streams that even though she says she's Irish, she's Irish, she's Irish, she also sometimes does this perfect, crisp British English accent. Not saying that Irish can't do that, but she would say, and I butcher it kind of like a Scottish shortbread ASMR, but she would say, Lewis, can you get me a bottle of water? But she says it in the British English way. Like she doesn't say it in a Scottish way or whatever. So, um, but yeah, no, like, and then like when we talk about when I tell her, you might have some English in you, Lena. She said, "Yeah, I'm becoming the people I hate." And I said, "Well, there's nothing wrong if you're part English, but you don't say it like that." Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, I see now. Okay. So I guess that's not like a genuine impression. Okay. Well, she does it in such a way that it makes it believable. And it's funny because she's like, "I'm Irish, I'm Irish, I'm Irish." And I'm like, "You're speaking like British English right now." And it's okay to be part English. I mean, don't want to be inbred. But yeah. Yeah, this is what I mean with me and my Welsh family. Oh, were you the one, Moffy, who said you were part Welsh? I don't know if it was you, it was you or Rowie, because I know it was one of you two. But yeah, like I know she gets into a fit with that. But anyways, she sometimes says that I remind her of her brother. and she reminds me a little bit of my mother's sister, Liz. We call her Aunt Liz, but I think her full name is connected to Elizabeth. But anyways, so poor lass will get bullied back home in Ireland if she sounds English. I mean, at least to me she does. Maybe you guys would be a better judge. But anyways, it's funny. Well, it's interesting because her and her partner will go back and forth about who's the real Puerto Rican. It's more so him than her. So, I would tell Lewis, Lena is technically at least part Puerto Rican like you are, just because her mother was, at least she has some connection there from her mother. And then Lewis would say, well, Lena didn't mix as much with the natives like I did. And then I'd be like, well, you guys still both had ancestors that lived there for a time. Um, and then he kind of brags about being in the U.S. military for 7 years. Like I think he was in the Navy, and he says, look at me. He talks about that. It's okay. It's if it means a lot to him, that's one thing. But then like one time when we were playing Final Fantasy 14, like he would say. He would yell at Lena because it was only her second time playing Sage, and he would like yell, you're horrible, whatnot, and then I would say, I would say, Lena, are you okay with him yelling at you like that? And then she would say yes, and then he would say, his other name is Mr. Morales, by the way. Sometimes they say Mr. Morales, so I don't confuse people. Um, but yeah, that's his other name. Um, and this guy, I mean, there's not By the way, I told my friend Calix about it too. Calix is in the server. He's part Cherokee, Irish, German. Um, and I also told him. I mean, it doesn't really matter, if the guy is 5'7" or 6'5" or whatever. But I mean, my dad's 5'7". I went through growth spurt and I'm around 6 foot now. Might have gotten it a bit also from my mom's side and maybe even from part of my other dad's side. But yeah, like Mr. Morales, he's around 5'7", and again, doesn't really matter either way. But when I just said that, like Cal was like, "Well, he's yelling a lot for someone like that." But his opinion, I didn't say it, but yeah, no, like I told my friend Dolly, because he told me what Mr. Morales told me. He said, "Well, I'm not as soft as you are, Jim." And then when I told Dolly that, Dolly was like soft, and then she would also say he's not as good looking as you either. And he said, he should be thankful to have Lena as his partner. And so yeah, like, and so that's why I tried to help them both because again, it was more so him. It wasn't even Lena. It was he'd always say, well, she's not Puerto Rican enough for me, and I would say, well, I mean, you guys are still connected somehow. And I think in yeah, yeah, and in Puerto Rico, like, I think they have this term called Boricua or something, where it says essentially Puerto Ricans can come in all different skin tones and all different nationalities and all that. But yeah, no, like he just really struggled with that, and I was just trying to help them come together. And I could say you could learn something from Lena and her culture. And then he would say, and then Lena would say, you know what, like my white girl culture. And I could say, well, I know Lena, you like Chinese food, and he could learn something about Chinese food with you. I kind of laugh because I find it funny, but yeah, like to me, it's not. I mean, I don't. I always told Lena I viewed her as a friend, and I've told her that for many years because I think there was a time she was interested in me, but I would always tell her I just kind of really enjoyed her company. But yeah, I know like her partner. I think in time it will get better because they have a child now. They have I think a daughter. So, but yeah, it's. It's interesting. It's so yeah. But yeah, hopefully if she ever decides to go to England or Ireland or wherever, hopefully she has a good time there. I don't know if she would ever be interested, but because I think she also grew up in Georgia as well, and so she also has a bit of a southern accent too. But again, that's why I mentioned the melting pot. You can have two people that come from the same place or that had, ancestors that settled or grew up in the same place or were from the same place, but they could have very completely different experiences. So again, that's why I use that word melting pot. Um, I think my tax accountant said, maybe she could have had ancestors from Northern Ireland. That could be another aspect too, because I know it's a bit contentious over there at times, but again, if she does have ancestry from there, nothing wrong with that either. No. I think my friend Dolly though, I think I don't want to say like she's Irish, but she's definitely I feel like closer to Irish to me. But again, there's many different kinds of Irish, which is actually a good thing, because that's part of how you showcase the rainbow. Um, but yeah, no, um, uh, it was always nice to also connect with her, and she reminded me a little bit of my dad actually. Of course, she's a woman and my dad's a man, but when I talked to her, I could see, okay, maybe now I can see why my dad on his test it said 30% Irish. Because when I see you, Dolly, you remind me a bit of my dad. Of course, she's also part French as well, so that could be part of it too. But yeah, Lena reminded me more of my mother's sister, honestly. And so that's why, because on some DNA tests I get Moffy sometimes, it'll say like I'm 1.5% English. I know that's not a lot, but I'm like, well, maybe there is a connection there. Because I know my mother's name, Edith, apparently is connected to like Old English or Scandinavian in origin. And I know my mother always said she had a good time visiting England or London. So, could be a connection. Could be. Fireworks are going off like crazy where I live right now. I don't know if you guys hear them, but a little bit, a little bit. Yeah, it's a smaller amount though. Like if you look at towards the end, it'll say like um I think for me at least, let's look. Yeah, for my dad, it will say like almost 20% Irish or 17% Irish, part Scottish, 7% Norwegian, and then like 1.5% English. So a little bit. I mean, it's more than zero at least. um. Oh shoot, yeah. Happy 4th of July. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, and then for me, it'll say like 10% Irish, 1.5% English. The difference between my dad and I is like then I get like a whole bunch of like Swiss German, which I think is part Celtic because I think the difference between Swiss Germans and Germans or the Swiss Germans are more Celtic. And then it will say what else? Uh, Dutch, Belgian, and German. But I know my dad also got like was connected to like Belgic tribes as well from Belgium. But I could have gotten part of that from my mum as well. Speaking of which, I don't know if I told you this, Mafi, but my grandma, Mama, or also Rowie, I posted in pictures that she sent me some chocolate all the way from Florida, all the way from South Florida, all the way up here. And it's from a company called Lindt, which apparently it's a company from Germany, but I think they also make chocolate and they're connected to like Switzerland as well. So it was really good. Yeah, and I sent also a picture of it to my mum. You know that my grandma sent me that. Um, and yeah, it was very good. Um, so hey, hello, R.A. Tacky. Hope you're doing well. Um, even though I haven't really connected that much with Germany per se, or Switzerland. Well, I do like at least I guess one of the ancestral sites I use, My True Ancestry, is based in Switzerland. Um, I do find it interesting. I know like a lot of times people here who tend to have German ancestry will say, I'm German American. I'm German American. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't really say that. I just say okay. But I think I was like closer to like Belgium and Dutch and parts of France anyways, so uh so maybe there's part of it too. I think that's why when my German Irish American friend Lotus was like, who cares about plating in front of my Dutch friend? I was saying, but it makes the eating experience better. And then my Dutch friend was like, thank you, Jim. Then she would say the Dutch stole everything from us. The pretzels were made in Germany. They weren't made in the Netherlands. And I would say, but look at the plating they have when they eat the pretzel. It's really good. Well, yeah, Chocobo music's so freaking good. I was chilling in the Chocobo race lobby for a while. Well, yeah, like I was saying to you, that most Americans connect to their modern ancestors. Yeah, well, the thing is, like, I mean, I could say I'm part German as an example, but I'm definitely more than that. Or I could say I'm part Spanish or part Irish, but I'm more than that. And so that's why I'll say like Celtic, because I think it's a bit broader in aspect. It's a bit because the Celts, were many different regions. Excuse me. And so I feel like if there were countries I would resonate with, I'll give you a list. So France, Spain, Portugal, Switzerland, I guess Britain, technically, including Scotland, Wales, even England, Ireland. Well, I guess that in Northern Ireland would be included. Scandinavia for sure, because I had a lot of cousins from Scandinavia. Even more so from Germany, from what I saw. But um, like I feel like when I listen to Bjorn from Norway, that I just feel a connection, and I know there was a guy named Maximus, in the a rune dagger from the stream, watching the stream, and I was telling him that I had a cousin from Sweden named Magnus. I'll have to look it up. I have cousins also in Britain, by the way. I can also list them too if you guys are interested. Um, but yeah, I think the guy from Sweden, I think he was from Sweden. Could be from Denmark too, but look. I guess you could also say I'm part Norse, but where's this guy? So let's see. Was there a Magnus, or I thought there was. Um, there was definitely an Olsen. I was related to an Olsen from Denmark. What was this one? Yeah, Mette Johanna Olsen, fourth cousin. Noah Mokirk, fourth cousin. Uh, Jotte Hendrickson, that's a fourth cousin. Parents' fourth cousin. Uh, yeah. Let me look at. Okay, let me give Britain a shot, and I have Ireland too. But Britain or the United Kingdom, I have a fourth cousin, parents' fourth cousin, Okay, hopefully I pronounced this right. Uh, Janen, Colwell. Hopefully I'm not butchering that. Janen Colwell? Is that how you would say it? Um, Reminds me a bit of my dad, but yeah, it seems like that's one notable match. Oh no! I didn't mean to alk my fire staff, my bad. Sorry about that. I'll have to buy a new one. Oh, Janin? Janin? Is that how you would say it? That's a big oopsie, haha. I think hopefully I got at least Colwell right. Colwell. Janin. Janin. Hard to type out an explanation. Okay. Would Janin be closer? John and Janin. I know Jane for sure. Jane, like I know, like if you just say Jane, I can say that. Would it be Janin? Janin, like that? Not Jaden, but like like from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Oh, oopsie was the fire staff, not your. Oh yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, no worries. We can get the fire staff back. It won't take too long. Another person I was related to is Jessica Smith, parents' fourth cousin. I don't know how common. I think in the U.S. the name Smith is quite common, but I don't know if the same applies to the UK. Yeah, I'm related to a Smith. Hey RPG, glad you could join the stream. Right now we're talking about different ways to say words and me alking my fire staff and talking about different cousins from places like Sweden, Norway, and UK. Yep. Another person. I also have people with Spanish names also in Britain too, like Mia Solano. Another guy, Egast, but I don't think Egast is Spanish. Daniela Sanchez Rojas. Rojas means red. Let's look who else. Um, okay, this one. Elin Reed. Elin Reed, I think. Yeah, that's what I heard, and I think even oops, my bad. I think even they did the same thing in Norway too. I think Bjorn was talking about that as well. So yeah, glad you could join the stream, RPG. Yeah, so is it Elin Reed? Is that how you would say it? I almost feel like Bjorn when I speak English sometimes, because he would say, I know my English is not always perfect as a Norwegian. Elin, or Eileen, or Eileen. Would it be Eileen? or Eileen. Yeah, like island. Yeah, yeah. So, um, okay, then I have someone that reminds me a bit of Rowie, but she has, I think, might be closer to like a Portuguese last name. Rayo, or right, Rayon. You guys are gonna get me on this. This streamer is helpless. Yeah. Hold on. Throw you a link in chat for anyone to come over, but it got very quiet for the other part of the world. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this I'll send a picture. I guess in selfies, but this reminds me a lot of Rowie a little bit. Rayan? I think the last name, I think it might be connected to Portuguese, which is close to Spanish, but not exactly the same. Carvalho, I think, or something like that. Rayan. Okay, so Rayan apparently is Arabic. Okay, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Persian. I wonder if there's another origin to that word. Okay. Carvalho. Portuguese, yeah, it means oak. Okay. Who's that? Okay. Okay, so this one I got. Fiona Thompson. Yeah, that's the one I can pronounce. Fiona Thompson. Or no, Fiona Thomas, not Thompson. I don't know where I got Thompson from. Yeah, Fiona Thomas. Okay, another one I think is Emily Warhol. Or Warhol, I think. Mhm. English. Yes. When worlds collide. Um, okay, Paula Lee. There you go. I got that one. Paula Lee. I swear I can speak English. I can. It's just some words are easier to pronounce than others. Okay, Pauline Palmer. Oh, this one. But this is a little bit more Scottish, I think. Owen Raphael MacDonald. There we go. My grandfather's, my mother's side, her father's name was Raphael, so my brother's name is Rafi. Grammar Cockett, I think. It's another one. David Clark, Anne Wilson, uh, Lisa Payne. This one. Shelley Cook. Or Shella Cook. You think I would have more trouble with the names from Scandinavia, but I think one time I used to say Bjorn instead of Bjorn, but after I learned it's Bjorn, I was pretty good at it. Yep, they are. Of course, over time, the shared DNA gets smaller and smaller, but I was just going from highest to lowest in DNA, shared DNA. Kristen Sanders. Sounds like the guy from KFC, Carl Sanders. I don't know if you guys ever had Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's like almost like a religion in Japan that they have it during the winter holidays. But made me think of that. Johanna Russell. It could also be Joanna. I guess how you depending on how you pronounce it. Yeah, they're crazy about it. Robert Dining. This one guy reminds me a bit of the Irishman. Amy Thetford, I think. Yeah, they all live where do you guys live, or at least somewhere in Britain. Ronald Stewart. Okay. And then Ireland. I got some there too. Let's see. Lisa would be one of them. I shall track down your family. That'd be great. Yeah, so in Ireland we have Lisa, Gabriel Guterres, Janice O'Toole, Anna Kating, Jean O'Brien. Okay, so I got some there so far. Add them to the server. That's funny. Okay, and then we're gonna do this for RPG because I think he said it was ethnically Norwegian. So I have a, and you can correct me on my pronunciation, RPG, since I know you said you're Norwegian or Norwegian New Zealander, raised by Irish. So there's Yakim, or Joachim Osterman. Let's see if I can get his name. There's also Elizabeth Estable. And then this is with the O's kind of going through the middle. Like that. No, you know honestly, yeah, it is Muffy. But no, I was thinking I'll have to send you that video, the PK video. But we were doing Deep Wildy PK years ago. This was back when I was playing old school RuneScape. And I don't know where this guy was from, but the guy was like saying, where, you know, where? It's like 76, 76, you know, where? And he's like, 76. What do you mean, where? Are you fucked? And I'll have to share that video because it reminds me like what you would probably say, Muffy. But yeah, it's great. Okay, so we also have Frederick Rauld. Another one is Veronica Bjorn Dahlen. Yes. Yeah, so it, my aunt my aunt Liz, that's my mother's sister. She's named Aunt Liz. Yeah. Uh, yeah, so mhm. And so there might be a connection there. I just remember my mother just saying she really enjoyed her time in England. So she could be part English potentially. I just know her name's Edith. Excuse me, and then my brother is named Eddie. One of my brothers is named Eddie, or Eduardo in Spanish, but we most call him Eddie. And then my grandmother's name, some people call her other than Mama, is Eddie, which I think goes back to Edith too. Mm. Yeah, so another person from Norway named Roxana Hart, Pedro Rosaland, uh, Velderud, Fiona Olstenvig. I think that's how you say it. So there's still Fiona, but the last name. Oh no, hold on. Let me get this one down. Okay, then Dina Sango, something like that. Yeah, I've heard the Dane. I, I don't know why I said I heard the Dane. I heard the I've heard the name Dina before. But, yeah. Then there's this one. Jean Oren Jacobson, I think. I kind of love how they do the O in Norway. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, Dina. Yeah, the deep dive match I also had, or my dad had, with the Danish Johnny tribe was a woman, by the way. That it just showed up on the DNA test that one of the people from that tribe. I mean, it could have been a man or woman, but that test was a lady. So, mhm. Okay, let's go to Denmark. I have okay, so I mentioned Mate Johanne Olsen. That almost sounds like because I think my great grandfather Cleves, his middle name was Johannes or something like that. And I think Olsen it comes from son of Olaf, which I think RPG would might connect to. Then I'm related to a Noah Mokirk or Mokirk. I think the guy from Denmark said that Mokirk was Dutch or something. Well, no, it's on a website on MyHeritage. It just tells me who my cousins are. So that's how it tells me. Okay, so This guy is from Denmark, but I told this there was a guy from York or Yorkshire or no, I always told him I prefer Shire over Shire. Like if you say it alone, it's like why would you go to the Shire, not the Shire? And it's like, well, that's how we say it. It's like, okay, yeah, but but you know, when I told him about my cousins, I think he said, you know, you'd be welcome to come to Yorkshire or Yorkshire. He just connected with the name Hendrickson. He's like, oh yeah, you're related to a Hendrickson. I was like, yeah, this guy's from Denmark though. He's not from England or Britain. Maybe there is a Hendrickson that lives in Britain though, but I think he also connected with Edwin Olsen, but this guy is also from Denmark. Um, yeah. Then okay, and then from Sweden, Martha Manson. I think in Sweden they use two S's for some words, something like that. Um, Natalia Jacobson. That's another one. Maria Ost. Olivia Osterman. A lot of ladies. This one's a man though. Tomas Cesar Gomez Tworfgard or something like that. I think Tworfgard. I think something like that. Roxana Johansson. Stefan Eriksson. There's Eriksson. Oops, my bad. I'm getting attacked by these things again. Okay. No. Oh, I know. Got my cat. Okay, Adrian Borg, um, Rosita, Lori Yasmin Olsen. That's a long one. Okay. Okay, so next one. Why don't we do Spain? Because I also have relatives in Spain as well. I am the melting pot after all. Though, of course, my Spanish is not perfect, but I try. I try my best. Claudia Rodriguez is one. Uver Torres is another. Oh, this one's my mother's last name. Yasel Yasimada Miares Ortega. Ortega. Yeah, that's my mother's last name. That would be from my grandfather, because my grandmother's maiden name, my mother's mom, would be Martel. For anyone who doesn't know, Martel was, I think, connected to the Franks who fought against I think it was I think they called it the Islamic Caliphate or whatever. Uh, it was during the 700s or something. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Let's see here. I think my mom had told me that she had connected to a name Navarro or Navarra, because my mother also said that my grandfather, Papa, we would call him Papa, had Basque ancestry, and that would have been close to not only the Basque country but the region of Navarra, and that would be kind of in northeastern Spain. So I have some cousins with the name Navarro. So, yep. And so that's why, I think that's why my dad's wife, Julie, said, in her words, she said, I didn't expect your grandmother, like, you know, I didn't know she was Cuban when I looked at her. I thought she was a white French lady. And I said, you know, just like Puerto Ricans, Cubans come in all different shades and colors. And so, you know, might have some French ancestry too from my grandma. She could, you know, she doesn't speak French. She always, you know, she would always say, "Háblame en español, Louis," or "Speak to me in Spanish." And she doesn't have she doesn't have the snarky. Well, I'm not trying to be mean, but there are some French, in my opinion, that have a bit of an attitude. Like even words like amour and amour, they'll say, "I didn't say that." It's like, well, it's so close, you know. But anyways, no, my grandma was not like that. My grandma, my dad's wife, would always say that the way she would like lay out plating was very British in her opinion. So, I mean, again, could be multifaceted. Maybe my grandma could be, of course, Spanish, but maybe even French and part English or something. I don't know. Yeah, I think my friend Dolly said there's a difference between the French and the real French. And then my dad's wife would say countryside French, and then I guess the other French would be maybe they're thinking about Paris. But no, like yeah, but my grandma, she's not like that. Um, I know my mother learned how to speak French because I think she went to a French boarding school, and hopefully not all of it was bad. Doesn't seem to be the case because it seemed like she enjoys speaking French, but she also enjoyed visiting England. So, you know, and my mother is, you know, she's the kind of person, kind of like my friend Dolly, that enjoys thrift shopping from time to time and all that, which is a good thing because I actually go to the thrift store a lot, but it's mainly to donate stuff that I have that I feel like people could also repurpose. So yeah, that's why I like the thing too. Like, I don't know if I've heard the term French American that much. I've heard Cajun American, but I haven't heard many people say, "Oh yeah, I'm a French American." Um, yeah, I've never really heard that. Oh no, I'm running out of runes. Hold on. Oh no, oops, my bad. I wouldn't normally do this. Oh, I'm almost out of mine runes too. Okay, how about... Yeah. Yeah, no, I think most of the people that I meet that have the snarky like attitude that say they're French are not even from here. They're usually from Quebec. And I think even people from Paris, or people from France, they sometimes they don't really view them as French. I don't know. But anyways, it's probably better for them to talk about than me, because all I know is I'm the Rainbow, I'm the Arcoides. Um, I think I have some cousins from France, but Have to look. Let's see. There's one named Laurent Canavis. Oh boy. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. When I think of that name, it reminds me of one of the characters from One Piece. I think his name was something like that. Okay, then there's another one with the last name Edgar, and that makes me think of Edgar Allan Poe. His first name, Lavigne or something, I think. I know how to pronounce Edgar though. Okay, I'm gonna need to buy another fire staff. There's the fireworks. Oh yeah, the eye patches. I forgot that too. Okay, that and dehyde. I don't know if you guys took French, but do you guys know how to pronounce the second name, the first part? Um, okay, so this one I think I can do. Gabby Echeverri. Echeverri. Oh, there he is, egregious, the mighty. Let's talk to antisocial. Nice, I've been here. You had to take French in school. I dropped out of that ASAP. Okay. So at least I'm not the only one. Because again, like with my mom, with my grandma, even though my dad's wife thinks that my grandma looks very French, um, we never really spoke French. We'd always mainly speak Spanish. So I know some words are similar, like amour and amor. So like because they both come, I think, from Latin. So amour would be like French for love, and I know that because my friend Dolly has like a tattoo with amour on her hand, or like on her arm. But then amor is the Spanish version. Amor. Um, Bruno Goncalves. Yeah, well, I think that's for Spanish, but whatever. You know, there was a joke. Well, it wasn't really a joke, but we had to take French, Spanish, and Italian. Yeah, they are similar. Um, you might find this interesting, though. I was watching this video of what do the Spanish think of the French, and you know what this one Spanish lady said? She said the similarity between us is that we both live in the south of Europe. And then she said, for how close we are, we're really that different, or we're really, very different for how close we are. Um, I think like the Spanish on average, when I um watch videos of them, I feel like they tend to gravitate a little bit more towards Italians and Greeks. But I guess it depends on on who the Spanish person is, because I know my mom gravitates to French, and then I think one time I said if I asked my mom if my great grandma or if my grandma had any Italian in her, and she kind of said not really, but I don't know. But vastly different, yeah. Yeah, like I feel like when I went to Italy, I mean, I didn't go to all of Italy, but when I went to like Rome and Florence, they were very accommodating. Even when I, even with the little Italian I spoke, they were fine. I think this one is Alexandra Chaumont or something. Chaumont. Yeah. Yeah, no, I found that funny. It's just like, yeah, we both live in the south of Europe, but other than that, yeah, it's just silly. Again, my friend Dolly says, the French and the real French or something. I think they really mean the Franks, because it's like my friend Laura says, well, to be frank, that's the only thing I can think of, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's more than frank. I don't know. All I know is I had Lombard heritage that somehow it said Frank, but they were not. They were more so Scandinavian than Frank. And it talked about the women, the Longbeards or the Lombards. They settled in Italy, and when they were fighting the Vandals, the women spoke to Freya. Freya told them to wear their long hair like beards. And so when they fought the Vandals, they got favor from Odin, I guess because the women wore their hair like beards or something. Oh, okay, great. I know if I do have matches related to French, it's mainly like the Celts or the Gauls that lived in France during the Iron Age. I know I have a lot of that at least. Um, okay. Oh yeah, and then remember, I think one of you guys made the joke about my Uncle Herman. I call him Uncle Japanese Cherokee Herman, but I think one of you guys said Herman the German. Another of my friends or old friends used to say that too. So in Germany, it's kind of interesting because I think I was had cousins that was more related to from Scandinavia than Germany, but yeah, let's see. Oh, I got carpal tunnel now. No. Hold on, let me see. He just No, that happened. Okay. So I'm related to someone because I have a lot of cousins in Germany that also have Spanish names like uh, Amelia Alane Suela Perez. I think Perez is related to the Visigoths that settled in Spain. There's another person I'm related to named Felicita Bauer, I think. That's how you would say that. Okay, then another name is Frank Wickenhauser. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think Hauser means like house or something. Martin Steinach? Something like that. Okay, let's see who else. We'll have to cover the Netherlands too, because I got cousins from there too, and Belgium. Okay, this one's a long one. So it has Jane in it. Jeanette, Jeanette, Janetha Fox. Okay, so this one was interesting because I was speaking to a German from Bavaria. He thinks Bavaria is the only thing that matters in Germany for whatever reason. I guess he never heard about Cleves, but I was saying if I was pronouncing the last name right, and he said yes. So, and I have another person with the same last name too, but with the first name Michelle. Oh, there he is, the block dot, the guy who tried to PK me. But he's like a lower level though, or I don't know if that's another account, but hamburgers come from Germany, right? From Hamburg. Okay, so I don't fully know that. I enjoy hamburgers, but or hamburgers, but I had I remember I told you about my German Irish friend or someone who I knew that was German Irish. It was funny because she would say she was Irish, but then when she would talk about being German, she'd go hard German. And then she said something about hamburgers didn't really come from there or something. I'll have to check. The modern hamburger is a sandwich is believed to originate in the U.S. The name likely comes from the Hamburg steak, a ground beef dish popular in Hamburg, which was later adapted into a sandwich format in the U.S. Okay. So it took inspiration from there, but I guess its final form came from here. Okay. Okay. Now this one I might need some help. Well, Konrad Brune or something. Yeah. Konrad. Konrad. Okay, let's go to the Netherlands. Okay, so there's a person I'm related to named uh Tamara Root Rutan, I think is the last name. There we go, I got an iron bar. Oh, wait. Oh, there's Muffy. You made a cameo on stream. You made a cameo. Gimme. Let's see. Hold on, I gotta outfit you a little bit more, Muffy. Let's see. I'm gonna get you this, that, this, that. Um, hold on. Muffy looks like a bot. Looks like that too. That's what I was thinking, and I was like, oh, that's Muffy. Oh. You gotta read it yourself. Hold on. Wait. Oh, you got full. Oh, hold on, Muffy. Also got. I got this for you too. Okay, so another person. Let's see here. Aldert. That sounds like Albert, but it's Aldert, I think. Aldert. Uh, Koltse, I think. I know how to pronounce the first word, I think. Desiree Jaime, I think something. Cohen Linders. And then this one, Leela Laufey or something, I think. Or I think Lila or something. Okay, and then a cousin from Sweden. Not Sweden, Switzerland. John Jung Claus, or sounds like Santa Claus. Hold on, I gotta do something. Okay, so let's look at the first poll. So out of 12 votes, number one was a tie between Deep Wildy PvP sitting at Varrock West Bank, And then a tie at watching Gem trade eye patches and training at green and blue dragons. Okay, that's pretty cool. Like that. Yeah. Thank you, Muffy. Glad you enjoyed the gifts. Sweet Talker. No, Sweet Walker, not Sweet Talker. Nice. Reminds me of that episode from SpongeBob where SpongeBob's breaking the clocks, and then he's like, "You're losing." Switter's like, "You're losing it." Out of here. Okay, so this one. Let's see if I can get it. It's new. Camilla, Chow, s s that last one. Caroline, Chavin. Let's see. Hey, at least everyone's enjoying their eye patches. Okay. Oh, another Fox last name. I'm related to yeah, quite a few people are related to that last name. I think it's related to someone with red hair, by the way. Like also related to foxes, I think. Okay, let's look at Belgium because my dad always says he feels like he's part Belgium or yeah, part Belgian. Okay, so Belgium's interesting. Um, okay, this one. Luz Cadomi Rangel Alba. Alba sounds like Scotland, like the Scottish way of saying that. Hold on. Pass. This one. Pascal Russen. Hedwig. Oh yeah, there it is. Hedwig Dino. Oh, there's Runite Rat. There's our friend that we traded the eye patch to. And then there's Thaddy. Let's see if I can give him an eye patch. Ana Gallego? Okay. Oh, wait. RPG, if you're still here, I have four cousins from New Zealand. Four cousins. Okay. One of them is Alan Rodriguez Soros. The other one is Kelly Ashton. Bruce Botha, I think. Hold on. The four Kiwis. You might know them, RPG, or maybe you don't know them. I don't know. But if you're still here, these are four memorable people from New Zealand. Linda Hayes Thompson. Okay, here I found a Thompson finally. Lindy, I think. Wait. Okay, and then Australia. Um, got a fair amount from here. Let's see. Paula Ferris, I think. Oh, sounds very similar to my friend's my friend Ben's name, Welsh American Ben Ferris, but his is with an A, not an E. Gotta give you a challenge for update. Shirley Anderson. Oh, I have a friend named Anderson, but he was my I don't know if I told you guys, but he's native. Well, he's part Native American Apache through his mother's line, but he's also Scottish, German, English, Jewish, and something else. His mother, even though I think that's where the Apache came from, she reminds me of Barbossa, Parts of the Caribbean. If you guys have ever seen that film. Her name is Debbie. Debbie the Apache. It's great. All right, I think that's good for ancestry for now. Um, I'll do two more just 'cause even though I was born in the US, my mom was born in Cuba. My dad was born in Colombia or Colombia, which are both in Latin America, but they migrated here and I was born here. Um, so let's see. From Cuba, I have someone I'm related to named Nubia Rosa Infante Hernandez. The reason why I know the name Infante because I knew someone who I went to school with that name Infante. Um, she had bright red hair. I remember that. Then let's see. And then in Colombia, I'm related to someone named Paulina Valles. Then the part Lena reminds me a lot of my friend Lena. Oh yeah, and then I even have one person from the Philippines, and I'm only going to mention that because I know Roe said she had a friend from the Philippines. I don't know if this person is ethnically Filipino, but it's one cousin, Alejandra Novoa. It's not a strong match, but it is a match. And of course, I believe in time I'll get more Japanese matches. more, more modern day Japanese matches we'll have to see. Okay, let's see here. There we go. Got his eye patch. Okay, so let's see how the poll's going. Have you enjoyed gem sharing ancestry? No. I don't know who voted no, but that and so the winner seems to be he's losing it, and then another person voted more eye patches and polls. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, okay. One more, and then that's it. Because we should round it off with Canada. Because I got cousins from Canada. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Glennis McLaurin. This reminds me a bit of my dad. A little bit. No, McLaurin. Lauren, yeah. McLaurin. See? Oh, Moffy! Did you, Oh, wait. Is there a way you can change your gender in game? I didn't know you could do that yet. I thought you had to wait for recruitment drive. But if so, I'm glad you're able to work through that. Hold on. Trying to See if I can get out of this. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know why my mouse all of a sudden started acting kind of weird. See if I can fix this. Hold on, guys. Okay. That's really weird. Because usually when I disconnect it, it tends to come back just fine. No! No! It's... Hold on. Just need to find out how to change my clothes and hair. Oh, nice. Okay, now my mouse is back. Okay. Lee Anna Nielsen. And yeah. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay. Okay. Makeover Mage, maybe. Hair's Barbarian and Falador. Oh yeah, with the hair, you go to the barber in Falador, I think. A gift, a reward. He isn't there. I know he is an OSRS. Oh, he isn't. Oh, I'm surprised actually. Okay, wait. Let me. The Okay, hold on. Let me go to Falador and see if he's there. Let me go to Fally, the Fallydor. Oh, hold on. Wait. No, hold on. Hold on. Wait. Taxi. Okay. Wait. Hold on. Let me trade a few more guys' eye patches and then we'll go. Until after appeal. No, there's your Yankee. There's your Yankee, Mafi. Thanks, feller. I could be anyone, but. Yeah, let's see. We will investigate. Hold on. Let me add you to my friends list, Muffy. Effie? Be careful with gifts. Yeah, no. Bit trippy. They must have evidence. One. See if he's still here. Everyone loves the eye patch. Well, one person said I did find the eye patch clan or something, so. Yep. It's... I like gift. So many people on tonight. Yep. They're all becoming pirates. It's like the One Piece live action, but it's like the Straw Hat Crews that giving everyone eye patches. Oh, by the way, Mafi, fun fact, oh, by the way, Mafi, I don't know if you prefer Mafi or Mafi. Let me know. But, anyways, oh, the live actor, for One Piece, Luffy, I think he's actually Mexican, or he's, I think, a mixture of Spanish and I think, Native American. Or he could also be part Basque as well, but figured I'd share that with you. Maffy. So is it like Maffy, like Taffy? Okay. Okay, let's go. I think we've eye patched mostly everyone. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, I guess so, huh? Yeah, I guess when I say Muffy, it sounds like Ilbert Sloppet, Sloppet, like from like Final Fantasy. No, I like Maffy though because it sounds like Taffy. It's great. I had someone I knew who used to be crazy about Taffy, but I don't eat it that much. But it's I have had it before and it's pretty good. Still here, Maffy? Oh shoot. Oh, no worries. All right. Maybe we'll just walk there. Oops, my bad. She's like, I know how to get to Falador. at this point. Have you decided if you want to play Broy, if you're still here? Bro one. Oh, okay, no worries. Makes sense. It's getting a little bit late here too. We're not as late as 7 a.m., but I guess we're early depending on how you look at it. Oh wait, we got a hero here. Hold on. Don't worry, I'm gonna come back. Okay, hold on. Let's see if he's there. Yeah, hold on. Hold on. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so usually... Oh, he's here. The hairdresser. Oh, well... There is that little swizzling... Okay, I see what you mean. It's just when I saw, once I saw the what do you call it? Looks like a candy cane, what do you call it? The candy cane post. I knew what it was, yeah. I knew this would happen. Seems to be a second floor as well. I don't think there's anything here though. On the bathroom table. There you go. Now you're not bald anymore. And you got armor. You got an eye patch as well. I think you're ready. Fireworks are going off like crazy too. Let's see. Oh, I know what it can give you. It can give you a Mind Talisman in case you want Runecraft. Let's see. Anything else? Give you a chef's hat. There you go. That'll help you when you go to the cooking guild. Oh, wait. Oh, she ran away. No worries. Hold on, let me see if I can... Oh, ooh, let's see. I got a herb. Enjoy. No, nub. Are you serious? You won the lottery. Okay. So other than that, Moffy, if you want to know where to train or to start training, aside from doing quests, you could train on cows or do whatever, you know? Yeah, cows, chickens. There's a cow pen south of Falador near Port Sarim. Yep. Uh, you know, I didn't think about that one as much. I know there's also one in Ardoyne, and there's one in Lumbridge too. Um, oh yeah. Well, I guess Mafia, I think I can show you the cow pen before I go back to Watchtower if you want to see that. I guess I can help give you some food. Let's see. Yeah, you do. You can always train melee too. That's another method. Since you got an iron scimitar and full iron, that will help you. There you go. Not a problem. Then I'll see if I can show you where that cow pen is. Oh, let me get some eye patches just in case if we encounter anyone else. I know not everyone wants them, but yep, flax. You can do mining rune essences are pretty good too. Or cutting wood to get arrow shafts is another good method. But people do buy cowhide though. Oh, I need 2 law runes to get to Watchtower. Okay. Okay, so well, if she's gonna go to pick flax, that she's gonna have to go all the way to Camelot for that. You have to cross the White Wolf. Well, you don't have to. You can also take a boat to Ardoyne from Brimhaven, and then you can just walk from Ardoyne to Camelot, so you don't have to go through the mountain. Yeah, so that's another way. I can even show you that if you want, but I need gold if we're gonna do it that way. There's also a cow pen in Ardoyne as well. That's really close to the bank, so that's another method. It depends if you want to train here or if you want to trade in Ardoyne. I think the cow pen. Oh, it's really close here. Okay, there's a person here too. Uh, a brave warrior, Black Hill 64. Yeah, so this is pretty close to the bank. Um, this is one method. Oh, Mafia, did you already go to the boat? Or Maffy? Ah, getting arrows. Okay. Oh, no worries. Well, if you want me to show you how to get to Ordoyne, I can. Unless if you're gonna be in Falador for a little while. I know me way around of Skaplan. Alright, sounds good. Okay, I think I'm gonna probably head to Yano and then end the stream, because we've been going on for a while, haven't we? Oh, 3 hours, yeah, we've been going on for a while. It's been worth it, though. It's been worth doing this for you guys. Alright, there's a warrior here. Pepe. The gift. It's great. Okay. Would you like another? It's great. See if there's any brave warriors here. Waiting for... Wow, she really doesn't like those eye patches. Oh, more for everyone else. Haters gonna hate, yeah, for sure. Pirate's gonna pirate. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream, Egregious. Glad you enjoyed, Egregious. Oh yeah, so this is one of the shops you can get bronze arrows, by the way. Mafia as well as vials. Probably should buy some of these vials, because they could go for a bit as well. Buy ropes, too. Mhm. Yeah, even 2004Scape, which I call classic old school, still has a lot of resources you could use. Yeah, I remember before the chair was too low when I was it felt like it was too low when I was sitting, and now we want to have it as at its highest ever since I grew to around 6 feet. Seems like gotta stretch my legs a bit more, which is okay. I've been sitting for over 3 hours as well, so playing after all. Okay, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. I'll still be on the Discord for anyone who wants to join. I posted a link earlier in the chat, but yeah, I think I'm gonna head out here. Let's see. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed, hope you guys had fun watching, and I'll be off for now. Take care.